Hey guys, it's Masha. Welcome back to my channel. So, as you can tell by the title, today I am talking about something very personal. And this video is not easy for me to make, but I am making it because first off, it's my story. I feel like I should be able to share it without the fear of being judged or hated on. And two, I really want to raise awareness to this issue because I know that it is still very much going on. What happened to me, I don't want it to happen to anyone else. So I was initially not planning to ever bring this story onto my channel, but recently there has been a lot of discussion about this topic and a lot of people have come out to share their stories. And the sad part is that the people that came out to share this story are adults. You don't ever hear this from children, which when these adults are sharing their story, they are talking about something that happened to them in their childhood. So this just needs to be talked about. And I know that there's not a lot of kids that are watching my channel, but there are parents, and parents need to talk to their kids and just keep an eye out for them. So with that, let's get started with my story. As much as I hate saying these words, the story is about sexual abuse. My story starts when I was 5 years old. Yeah, 5 years old. Okay, sorry if the camera slightly just readjusted, the thing just fell a little bit. Anyways, 5 years old. So this man that my family brought into their lives, into our lives, he took my childhood, he took my innocence. This man was a family friend to us. He wasn't a relative to me, but he was close to our family. So this whole thing started out with him just holding my hand. And when you think about it, it's kind of sweet, you know, a grown man holding a little girl's hand. And nobody really thinks too much into it. And I don't really know how it snowballed from there, but it did. So I was going over to this man's house a lot, and his daughter became my best friend. So I spent a lot of time with this person. Some people had their suspicions, but nobody ever did anything about it. And my parents assumed that I was just going over to his house to hang out with my friend, which I was, but that was not the whole truth. There was more going on. And I never said anything because, one, I was just confused. I wasn't sure if it was wrong. I just knew that I shouldn't probably talk about it. And then also on another level, I felt like if my parents found out, they would yell at me and they would probably make it to be my fault. So that's what I was thinking at that young age. So yeah, what this man did to me, it became the normal for me. At one point, one of his daughters actually called my mom and she asked if she could stop letting me come over to their house. When he found out, he was livid. I didn't really care, and I didn't feel relieved. I didn't feel anything. And I'm not really sure what happened there, but I just know a few days later, I was back at his house. So I will not go into the details of what happened and what this man did to me. As you can tell by the title, you might know or have some idea. I just know it was wrong, and it should have not been happening to a 5-year-old. Another reason I don't want to talk about it is because I don't want to bring pain to this person's family, and he has kids. I don't want to bring pain to them, and they don't deserve to feel pain because of what he did. So this situation, it went on for many years, until middle school, I believe. This grown-ass man treated me as if I was his. He spoiled me. He had so many kids and he spoiled me. He bought me toys, he took me on trips, he took me on vacations, and he even bought me my first cell phone, which he actually used to spy on me. He would get angry if I texted boys. Eventually, I stopped talking to him. I would often hide in my room whenever he came over. By 8th grade, it was over. That's a good 7 years of my life he took from me. And that's not even all of it. So anyways, when I was 17 years old, I started dating my now husband. In the beginning of our relationship, I opened up to him and I told him everything, every tiny little detail. My husband was angry with me. He was angry with me because I never told anyone and I was letting him get away with it. After a couple hours, my husband had time to process it, and then he was just angry at him and he wanted to kill him. And then later, he was just depressed. My husband was in such a bad place after that he had to talk to a therapist or counselor, however. And since this man was still in my life and coming over to our house about every week, the therapist or counselor, whatever, she suggested that my husband write him a letter. So my husband, Slavic, he decided that he would write him a note to try to scare him away, or so that he never comes around our house, so it would be easier for both me and him. So he did. He wrote him this note, and as the man was pulling away from our house, one day he gave him the note, and the guy drove away. So this note lasted about a week, and he didn't come over for a week. And then the next week he was back. So 2 weeks later, this man came up to my mom at church and he told her about this note. But he lied. He just told my mom that Slavic was accusing him of stuff that he would never ever do and all that. And my mom, who already didn't like Slavic at this point, she suggested to this man that they both go to my house and confront Slavic and me about it. And this man was like, oh no, I have other stuff I need to do, it's okay. So mom told him that she would just talk to me about it, and he was like, why, are you doubting me? Are you doubting our friendship or something like that? He was not happy that she was going to talk to me about it. But anyways, my parents came home and they pulled me and Slavic into a room, and I broke down and I was just sobbing and hyperventilating, and I was not able to talk, and my parents were just pushing me and trying to make me tell them about what happened. So Slavic told them, like, is it okay if she leaves? I can tell you guys everything that she told me because clearly she's not going to be able to talk. So they said, okay. So I left and he told them everything. And what my parents told Slavic was that I guess years ago they had their suspicions and they talked to him about it, and it caused a huge fight. But their issue with him was that he was spoiling me. They had no idea about anything that he was doing to me. So they didn't know the whole truth. But they were mad at my husband for bringing up the past. And the worst part is they didn't believe me. As if I would make something like that up. Like, who on earth would make something like that up? So anyways, I guess a few days later, my mom, she decided to investigate it more, and she talked to my sister, and she just, I guess she told her, like, can you believe that Masha's like saying all this stuff, and like just, and my sister actually told her that it could be true because our other sister had a similar situation with this man, but it didn't last for years and years like it did with me. So then my mom went around, called some people, and found out that he has been kicked out of churches, and he's gotten in trouble in the past about it. So my mom did apologize to me, but I never heard anything from my dad about it. And my dad's not the kind of person to really talk about that. But what I did hear from my mom was that my dad, he didn't believe me because he couldn't wrap his mind around that a grown man would do something like that to a little girl. So my mom, every time she confronted this man, he would lie to her about it. And she would talk to him and he'd lie, and she'd talk to him and he'd lie. So once she came up to him and she told him, like, she has witnesses and she has, like, all this stuff, all these people she talked to, and she just laid everything out, and he just broke down and he just confessed and he asked her for forgiveness. Then he came to me and he asked me for forgiveness, and I forgave him. And he asked my husband for forgiveness, and my husband, he said something else. My husband, I'm not sure if he really ever let it go. So yeah, that's my story. And this is just one story. There is more in my life that happened that I do not want to go into, but there has been more abuse to me in my childhood than just this one thing. And I don't want to talk about it because not even my family knows about it. So the second story I'm not going to get into. It was a one-time thing, but it happened. And just since so much of that has happened to me in my life, I can only imagine like what other things are going on in this world. So yeah, I was a victim. I still am a victim. All the choices I've made throughout my life have been affected by this man's actions. I feel as if I went through my teenage years with a don't care attitude because of what this man did to me. I did not care who my first kiss was. I didn't care how many boys I've kissed. I didn't care who I dated or how many people I dated. I just didn't care. So every single moment of my life has been affected by his actions. It stole my childhood. It stole my innocence. It stole my life and how I chose to live it. And I was just forced to deal with the consequences, as if his actions weren't bad enough. People ask me why I never leave my baby with anyone to be babysat or anything like that. And this is why. I just can't trust anyone, and I would not let myself live if anything like this were ever to happen to my baby. So yeah, this is my story. And I just want to raise awareness because this does happen, and just because you don't hear about it doesn't mean it's not happening. So just be careful with your kids and talk to them and watch them, and don't just leave them with strangers or even family, because a lot of these issues, it happens with family. And most importantly, teach your kids to speak up and what to do if this kind of situation ever happens to them. So that's it. I hope that this video reaches out and touches at least one person. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and keep coming back for more videos. Bye guys.